From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
He didn't harm anybody. This is so out of character for something to happen like this to him. I don't understand.
There is a huge cloud of heartbreak hanging over this North Bay High School after a deadly stabbing inside a classroom. I'm Justin Andrews walking you through how all of this unfolded.
And this morning, as part of our week-long focus on kids in crisis, we will share with you about a safe and free space now available in the peninsula to keep young people out of trouble after school.
Yeah, and Amanda, also this morning, as many of us are trying to keep warm, the soaring cost of natural gas might have you doing a double take. So we went to find out what is causing that spike and when there may be some relief.
And today we're in the heart of this dry break from all the rain, but the rain will return heading into this weekend. I'll break that storm down coming up in your full forecast.
The potholes and the way that the streets are horrendous.
And business is booming right now for a Bay Area tire shop after our recent rains did a number on our local roadways. The help available if your car was damaged by a pothole on the freeway. Speaking of the freeways, it is already a busy start for your morning commute, especially along 80. Details on a crash and how to work around it coming up.
We begin this morning, though, in the North Bay, where there is a growing memorial outside the Santa Rosa High School. There, a 16-year-old student was stabbed to death in a classroom. A 15-year-old classmate is now in custody this morning. Parents and students are just asking why. Detectives think the students knew each other and had problems before. Classes at Montgomery High will be canceled today and tomorrow because of the tragedy.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll learn more and more details, Amanda. But this morning, police are still piecing everything together. But here's what we know from them so far. Two boys, juniors, walked into an art class just after 11 yesterday morning. They were looking for a 15-year-old freshman. They started fighting with him in front of 27 classmates, one teacher, and 3 teachers' aides. Now, the teacher tried to intervene, but that's when police say the freshman pulled out a folding knife and stabbed the other boys. One was hurt, but not badly, but the other was stabbed 3 times in the upper body. Students called 911 and the boy was taken to the hospital, and that's where he died. Police say the 15-year-old suspect ran off, but they found him almost an hour later near a creek at St. Eugene's Cathedral School. Police are still looking for the knife, and at the time that all this happened, the school district had no private security or police officers at Montgomery or any other campuses.
For me, I don't usually feel unsafe, but now that it's like a very surreal moment, and I just feel like there's always been like a lot of fights worse than last year, and it's like, oh, well, you know, what if something happens to me or one of my friends?
Well, Justin Andrews is live outside Montgomery High School this morning with the emotional side of the story. And Justin, 27 students watched this stabbing happen, and just hearing from that student sounds like it's an issue with violence at that school.
Yeah, Gianna, when these teenagers walk into school every single morning, they should not have to worry about a deadly stabbing, let alone witnessing one. But that's the raw reality for so many of them on yesterday. So now this morning, there is a memorial outside for Jaden. He is the one who was killed on yesterday after this deadly stabbing. And we talked to a student who watched her best friend fight for his life.
The last words that he did with before his breath was gone was that he told me that he was like, Livia, I love you. Everything will be okay. I promise it'll be okay. I love you with all my heart. Don't ever forget that. And then everything just went blank.
That's Olivia Cruz and her best friend Jaden Pienta on TikTok. Jaden is the one who was stabbed to death. Olivia says she could always count on her best friend to comfort her and just simply make her smile. Well, now that's gone forever. She says it will be hard coming back to school when school does resume here. Olivia's feelings are shared among many students at the high school. They're now scared. Here's why. As we said before, yesterday there was some type of fight inside an art class involving 3 students here at Montgomery High, 2 juniors and a freshman. The fight got out of hand, and that's when the freshman pulled out a knife and started stabbing 2 junior classmates, according to investigators. Jaden, who was 16, was the one who died. Family identified him to us. This morning, there are questions swirling from parents and students wondering if anything could have been done to prevent this.
I feel like this could have been prevented if they would have taken action sooner because, I mean, everyone knows a lot of people do bring weapons on school. A lot of people do have knives. A lot of people do have big scenes. And I feel like they're not really taking enough action as they could be. And that could have been prevented today, you know?
So based on what we're hearing from parents and teachers and even students, there's a situation where it seems like bullying seems to be prevalent here at the high school. Well, during a press conference yesterday, a student actually asked that question saying, why wasn't something done sooner about this? We'll dive into that coming up in the next 30 minutes. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Gianna.
Yeah, and that's what's so difficult, knowing that this could have been an issue and hope maybe even prevented. All right, Justin, thank you. We will continue to follow the story on our website, kpix.com, and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. Amanda.
That's it.
Story. Let's take a look at our other top stories this morning. A man accused of beheading a young mother with a sword in the middle of a San Carlos street is competent to stand trial. That's according to San Mateo County prosecutors. Jose Rafael Solano Lendetta is set to be arraigned March 23rd. Proceedings were put on hold pending a mental exam that just cleared him. Lendetta is charged with murdering the estranged 27-year-old mother of his child with a sword outside of her apartment complex last year. The House Foreign Affairs Committee has advanced legislation to give President Joe Biden the power to ban TikTok and other Chinese-owned social media apps. Lawmakers say they are concerned China is using the app to collect personal data from Americans, but TikTok and the Chinese government both deny using the app for any surveillance or espionage. The bill now heads to the House of Representatives and Senate.
3, 2, 1. Engines full power and liftoff. A clear 6. Go Dragon, go Falcon.
All right, there it goes. Elon Musk's SpaceX launched 4 astronauts to the International Space Station for NASA today. That includes the first person from the United Arab Emirates going up for an extended months-long stay. Originally, the launch was supposed to happen on Monday, but that attempt was called off last minute because of a clogged filter in the engine system. A lot of times we know they can't take off too because of certain weather and what's going on in the area. So glad to see that they had that opportunity today. Back here in the Bay Area, we have an opportunity to even get outside today a little bit more.
Exactly. And you know, within the past couple minutes, we just got our updated drought monitor, Amanda. This is breaking news. Half of California is officially out of a drought.
Wow.
That's big compared to how we started off.
So officially, because I know we were saying it's not official.
Take a look at this right now as we take a look at our graphics all throughout the Bay Area, all throughout most of California. We've been struggling with our drought. Of course, working in California, we've been seeing such a lack of rain within the past couple years, and climatology plays a factor into this. But take a look at this. All this yellow right here, it's actually not even on the drought monitor. It's just abnormally dry conditions. So when you're looking at the color scheme, take that out of your mind. Now, the tan and the orange, that's still where we're seeing a moderate and a severe drought, but California is no longer in an extreme drought. Half of it's just dealing with those 2 drought conditions, and the rest of us are where we should be on average. This is huge news, and that just came out this morning. Now, let's take a look at this morning's temperatures. All throughout the Bay Area, we're sitting in the 30s and 40s. It is a chilly start to the day, despite the fact that that sun is up now. Heading into this afternoon, we'll hit some upper 50s, some lower 60s, and we'll continue to warm up into Friday. But take a look at our weather headlines. Heading into this weekend, the rain returns, and that's how we're going to be kicking off next work week too. So enjoy what we have right now with these blue skies, because heading into this weekend, that drought monitor is continuing to see better conditions thanks to all this rain sweeping in from the north. Here's a look at today, though. Daytime highs today mostly ranging in the mid-50s just along San Francisco and the peninsula, but it's a lot warmer hour by hour as we head into the afternoon, especially up in the North Bay and all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. More on that coming up in just a bit, but for now, over to you, G.
All right, just let's take a look at the roadways right now. Just waiting on an update from CHP on this trouble spot we've been monitoring. It is westbound 80, just as you work your way over into that Berkeley, Emeryville area, just past Ashby. It is still very, very slow because of a crash that was blocking at least 2 lanes. So traffic really backed up through there now all the way into El Sobrante. As you work your way through Richmond, you're going to see some speeds dipping down about 22 miles per hour. So keep that in mind as you commute this morning. Your travel time, 43 minutes, Highway 4 to the Maze. And if you're taking Highway 4, say from Antioch over to the East Shore Freeway, that's about a 49-minute commute. I will say this, if you want to take 680, it's looking a little bit better there, but still a little slow through Walnut Creek. Time right now is 7:11. We've got an update for you on the disappearance of a popular Bay Area DJ who vanished from his home almost a week ago. What his wife just shared on social media.
Plus, a big loss for San Francisco. This morning, we are remembering one of the city's most famous street performers. how his signature sound took him from the streets of Union Square to the big screen in Hollywood.
Our daytime highs today, it's going to be pretty much around average, just a little bit cooler. But hey, this is a lot warmer than what we were dealing with yesterday. And to add to that, we're going to continue to warm up as we head into Friday. Plenty of sunshine to go around for us today. Just some high clouds sweeping through at times for our Thursday forecast. Once we head into Friday, tomorrow, it's still going to be very mild too. So enjoy these dry days while we have them. You're probably thinking, why? Well, here's the reason why. Once we head into the weekend, those umbrellas will be at your hip. You're going to want them, especially as we head into the next couple days after Saturday. Take a look at this. I'm taking it out to a large scale model so you can kind of see this winter storm formulating this week and into this weekend. It's going to be around the Pacific Northwest around Friday heading into Saturday. But once Saturday and Sunday rolls around, it's perfectly aligned to give us plenty of moisture, allowing for rain to linger on even into next week's forecast. So on average right now, our models are showing about an inch of rain expected. That could still change a lot when it comes to next week for Monday and Tuesday, but Saturday, it is going to be a wet one, and that's going to help. I mean, I just showed you this a little bit earlier, but our drought monitor got updated this morning. Take a look at this. I'm just going to step off screen to enjoy this in its full glory. Half of California is out of the drought. Now, you're probably wondering, what are you talking about? There's all these colors on this map, and let me step back on screen so you can see what I mean. The yellow is just abnormally dry conditions. It's not until we see the tan where it's actually a moderate drought. The orange is a severe drought. So take a look at California. Half of us are out of a drought here in our state. This is big news, folks. And this is all thanks to those crazy atmospheric rivers that swept through earlier this year and these continuing winter storms that we see even in the forecast for the next 7 days. Lots of changes on the way for us. We'll keep you updated. But for now, over to you, Gianna.
Yeah, that is good news to hear that about the drought, Jess. But all this recent rain has made a mess of the roadways, creating an obstacle course, basically, of potholes for drivers to try and avoid. Our Katie Nielsen shows us how crews are taking advantage of the sunshine to patch things up.
It looks like she might have hit a pothole.
Tim Nuss and his family own RT Tires in Dublin. He says they're seeing an increase in cars coming in with blown tires due to problems on the road caused by the rain. That's exactly what happened to Victoria Torrey.
We're driving on the Benicia Bridge, and all of a sudden the tire went out. On the freeway, raining, it was horrible.
She brought in her SUV, where Tim said there was no way to patch the flat. She had to get a new tire.
The potholes and the way that the streets are horrendous, and they need to be. There's so many that need to be fixed.
In January, Caltrans said it filled 7,325 potholes across the 7 Bay Area counties, including this one on 680 northbound just before Highway 4. But Tuesday morning, it opened again, flattening tires on more than a dozen cars.
I'm just following the guy in front of me, and boom, and cars just keep coming in with flats. Same thing.
Tim says right after the rains, their business jumps by more than 30% with all the flat repairs. But it isn't just potholes that cause problems.
Just nails and screws and trash and junk that gets, washed up onto the road from the rain.
Victoria said she's just happy her family is safe and she was able to get a new tire.
You're awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
If your car was damaged by a pothole on the freeway, you can apply for reimbursement for any necessary repairs. You can find that information on our website, kpix.com.
On the Bay Area beat now, the wife of Wild 94.9's DJ and host of the JV show, Jeffrey Vandergrift, just released a statement almost 1 week after he went missing. His wife says this: personal information has recently been discovered that leads us to believe JV will not be coming back. I tell you this with incredible pain and sadness in my heart. Well, the radio station shared her message. They wrote that anyone who has listened to the show for the last year knows that JV has gone through an intense battle with Lyme disease, a well-known street performer. Our hearts go out to them. A well-known street performer in San Francisco who goes by the Bucket Man has died. So many of us have seen and heard his music. So if you spend time downtown near the Powell Street BART station, you've probably seen Larry Hunt. He spent his days there bucket drumming and got pretty famous for it. He even showed up in the Will Smith movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, and on America's Got Talent. Hunt was 64 years old. FEMA's recently opened Mobile Disaster Recovery Center in Contra Costa County will move to Pittsburgh's Community Presbyterian Church today. The federal agency says it's for residents impacted by the winter storms. And in Danville, a disaster recovery center has extended its run until March 16th. People there are able to get connected with recovery resources. The center at 510 Lagonda Way will operate daily from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for an extra 2 weeks.
Well, Amanda, our heaters have certainly been working overtime this winter, and that's led to sticker shock on our utility bills. Now, PG&E warned its Northern California customers of a 32% spike in natural gas prices this winter compared to last. Now, as you can imagine, the people who cook with gas for a living are really feeling the pain right now. One man who oversees 3 restaurants in downtown San Jose says his menu prices have stayed the same, but the cost of making many dishes jumped. And it's not because of the cost of labor or ingredients. Rather, it's because his chefs are cooking with gas. He showed us his combined electric and gas bill.
Coming out of last year, December, we actually were $4,800. And then January of this year, costs skyrocketed to $7,348. And then subsequently this past February, our bill was actually $12,858.
Several factors are driving prices higher. A major gas pipeline between Texas and California was shut down for 18 months, limiting the supply. Also, unusually cold weather across the country and here in California has led to spikes in usage. Justin.
A deadly stabbing inside a North Bay high school. Now students are asking, how could all of this happen? We're working on getting that answer. Coming up next.
And this morning, as part of our week-long focus on kids in crisis, we will share with you about a safe and free space now available in the peninsula to keep young people out of trouble after school.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back. It's 7:30, and this is the Morning Edition. This morning, students and parents are heartbroken in the North Bay. A school stabbing left a teenager dead and a fellow classmate injured. Classes at Montgomery High will be canceled for the rest of the week following that tragedy.
And Amanda, there are a lot of questions that still need to be answered. And this morning, police are still piecing everything together. But here's what we know from them so far. Detectives think the students knew each other and had problems before. There was some type of fight. It happened inside a classroom, an art class involving 3 students at a Santa Rosa high school, 2 juniors and a freshman. And the fight got out of hand, and that's when the freshman pulled out a knife and started stabbing the 2 junior classmates. Now, according to investigators, Jaden Pineta was the 16-year-old who died. His family says they first heard about the stabbing from Jaden's friends, not from school administrators. Now, our Justin Andrews is live at Montgomery High School this morning. And Justin, parents and students have so many questions about how this happened.
And Gianna, you can understand why they have so many questions. In fact, it was during a news conference yesterday when we were learning more information when a student shouted out asking why the school didn't do something about this. Listen in.
To be held accountable, a student had to call 911. Right. Nobody else did. A student did.
I get that.
A kid. The school didn't do anything. The school knew that these 2 had problems beforehand. Right. The school, it's their job to keep us safe.
Here's what we've been able to uncover, at least at this point. So it was back in 2020, Santa Rosa City Schools voted to pause a school resource officer program with the Santa Rosa Police Department. Well, that program normally puts those officers in high schools and middle school campuses across the district. Yesterday, when this fight started, it was not any officers inside the building. It happened right in front of 27 classmates, 1 teacher, and 3 teachers' aides. The teachers tried to intervene, but sadly, it was too late.
Why has it taken a loss of life for you guys to start caring about this?
Well, I think it's really important to understand that the Santa Rosa Police Department did not remove the SROs from the school campus. So I think that's very important. That was a decision made by the Santa Rosa School Board. As chief, it's something that I've advocated for us to return to, but we can't do that without the support of your Santa Rosa School Board.
We do talk regularly to our students about safety and about caring for each other on campus, but we do not have anything that detects those kinds of weapons on campus right now.
The Sonoma County Superintendent released this statement to us saying that the school's community's heart is pretty much broken and sends condolences to family, friends, and classmates of the victim. Obviously, this morning, this school community is in mourning right now. And this is just something that students should not have to deal with. Gianna, they are simply to come here to learn, to grow, to come to school and get that education from teachers. But sadly, they watched all of this unfold on yesterday.
I know,
I'll send it back to you.
Justin, just hearing it from that young lady speaking about how she doesn't feel safe at her own school is really concerning. And as a parent, you hear stories like this, and the one thing you hope for is that that is where your kids are okay, where they're getting an education. That is really, really scary to think that's not happening. All right, Justin, thank you so much. Well, we're seeing reaction on social media from parents and elected officials. Some parents are saying the school has not done enough to address the problem of bullying. Congressman Mike Thompson says he is saddened by the incident, while State Senator Mike McGuire calls it awful and tragic. Jocelyn.
All right, Jana, well, let's talk about youth and mental health. We want to tell you about a place that's been giving young people a safe place to go after school. But now a Peninsula boxing gym is facing its own fight to keep its doors open. Our Leslie Gooden stepped into the ring to learn more.
Fire in the Ring is a boxing gym that has been a staple in Brisbane for over 20 years, training fighters of all ages, with many growing up right here in the ring.
I'm just happy, really always happy to be here every single day. You know, it's really a privilege.
Like Brandon Villatuya, who started coming here at just 16.
Trying to chase that dream, you know.
And he's now training to turn pro. So twice a day you can find him here.
You know, for me to see a lot of the kids in the place where I was back then, you know, it really feels good, like, to give back.
Every Monday through Friday, starting at 4 o'clock.
You want to punch too, yeah.
The gym offers an after-school program free of charge to keep youth motivated and off of the streets. And keeping that lifeline of the gym open to all is becoming a challenge. Since the pandemic, grants and additional funding has been difficult to come by. Members of this community are raising funds to help the humble owner.
Very disheartening. I want kids that don't have an opportunity to have the opportunity to come here, work out, meet people, make a community, and feel safe.
And Jake has been a part of that after-school program since he was 10. And not only has he picked up strong moves, but lifelong tools.
And all these people that come in and volunteer, it's good, because then they show that they want our next people that are going to be on before us, to show them that they could do something good.
You have natural, like, speed and power yourself.
It's kept me level-headed and kept me going. This is one of the most safest places you could be after school.
The gym says they will remain here for as long as they can, inspiring and impacting the fist and hearts of all who come through.
Well, if you would like to donate or get involved with Fire in the Ring, you can head to our website, kpix.com. Well, exercise and physical activity like boxing is key when it comes to taking care of not only your body, but your mind. In fact, a recent study shows that consistent exercise for 12 weeks appears to be more effective to fight anxiety and depression than medication. Amanda.
Totally believe that, Jocelyn. All right, let's take a look at this morning's top stories. 2 Bay Area men have been sentenced for a bomb plot targeting political enemies. Ian Rogers of Napa was convicted of the plot targeting Democratic Party headquarters, the governor's mansion, and the headquarters of Facebook and Twitter. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison yesterday. In 2021, police found weapons and bombs at his home and his auto repair shop in Napa. A co-defendant, Jacob Copeland of Vallejo, was sentenced to 3 years. Vice President Kamala Harris will be here in the Bay Area tomorrow. She'll be in San Francisco to take part in a roundtable about business activity within the AAPI communities. The White House says the vice president will highlight the administration's efforts to boost small businesses, including an expansion of access to capital. Governor Gavin Newsom is declaring a state of emergency in 13 counties, including Sonoma, after all these recent winter storms we've been seeing. He says that declaration will enable the National Guard to get involved in the cleanup. That should help a lot. The governor's office says the state is contracting with private companies for snow removal and clearing roadways. And Jessica, I know you're well aware of how much snow that so many areas got. And
yeah,
we're hearing all these stories, especially people that live in San Bernardino, even in Tahoe, just completely snowed in.
50 inches within the past 3 days. It's wild. And it's still going to be coming down heading into this weekend, too, with the next batch of showers returning into the forecast. Take a look at this real fast. Extending all the way into the next couple days, we're going to be seeing more rain heading into Saturday and Sunday. And we kicked off this year with plenty of rain already. The atmospheric rivers, how can we forget about them? It caused so much damage to a lot of us here in the Bay Area, but it did help when it came to our averages. We are well above average for our rainfall year this year already. That means if we didn't see a drop of rain until September 1st of this year, we'd still be above average. And we have more rain in the forecast. So take a look at this. The drought monitor just got updated this morning. It is official that about half of California is officially out of a drought. Looking at this, it's probably a little confusing. You're thinking, what are you talking about? You see that yellow, the tan, the orange. Well, the yellow actually indicates abnormally dry conditions, which is not considered a drought. It's moderate drought and severe drought that's actually marked on the map. It's just this tan color and that orange color up near Redding, Ukiah area. Redding, Eureka area. So long story short, we are starting to see a lot of improvement thanks to all the moisture, that surge of moisture that's been pushing in from offshore. And we'll see more of that heading into this weekend. Now over to you, Gianna.
All right, let's take a look at the roadways right now. If you're getting ready to make that trek along 680, it is busy southbound. If you're headed out of Concord, 242, over down towards that 24-680 connector. A lot of brake lights. There's a crash near Main Street, so that's causing a few extra slow and go spots in that area. All right, checking the South Bay right now. Good morning to our San Jose commuters. If you're headed along North 101 out of San Jose, slow and go conditions there. Pockets of slowing, in fact, all the way through Mountain View. We're starting to see those brake lights and those cars kind of fill in for that drive along 101 through the peninsula as well. So checking travel time, 68 minutes from Hellier, North 101, all the way towards SFO. Well, time right now is 7:40, and it is hard to believe it's actually already been 6 seasons for the CBS hit show Young Sheldon. Well, joining me right now is Emily Osment, who plays Mandy McAllister on the show, and it's a big night for her character. You're going into labor in tonight's episode, so what can we expect? I always think that's kind of an interesting thing for actresses to have to portray on screen.
Yeah, especially since I haven't had the pleasure of having my own children yet. So this is one of those actor things where you're not exactly sure how you're supposed to do research for this. So I basically just talked to all the moms on set. It's like, how are we doing this thing? It's very strange, but I'm very excited for Mandy to have her baby. We've been working with a lot of really gorgeous sets of twins in the last few weeks. It's just been quite a ride, I have to tell you.
Oh, I'm sure. You joined the cast pretty recently, and you quickly became a central figure in several plot lines. So is it as much fun to play the role as it looks like? And I have to ask, too, are you going to give us any details or secrets about the future of Mandy and Georgie?
Oh, man, I'm really excited for Mandy and Georgie. I'm excited to watch them sort of grapple with the fact that they have quite a large age gap. And they also have a child together. They're not married. This is all very foreign things for 1993 Texas. So we're kind of pushing the envelope this season, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
Well, I think viewers are excited about that, too, because it's such a fun, popular show. And you've actually been in the business since you were a kid, so you know a thing or two about, being in television. Does having that background working in scenes with, younger actors like Ian Armitage, does that kind of help in those moments?
Definitely. I mean, it is very strange. I'll be 31 next week, and I remember being 14 and working on a television show, and my biggest fear was some final I had later in the day or something. And it's so interesting because you think that these kids are going to want to hear about how to make it in the world and in the industry, and they don't care what I say. But I really enjoy working with both of them, and it's just been truly amazing. I feel very grateful to still be doing this job. I'm just having the time of my life.
That's so good to hear. And you probably have a lot of good insights, so maybe they care more than you think, Emily.
You'd think, right? I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to tonight's episode. Young Sheldon airs Thursday nights on KPIX at 8 and streams on Paramount+. We'll be right back. Studio right now. He's laughing too.
We're having a good time.
Yes, we are. He makes us laugh on stage, on film, and on TV. And he's back on the road, making us off right here in the Bay Area at San Francisco's Punchline. And tonight, look, see, now everyone's okay. Bye. Everyone's already going to come out and
Showing
see you.
off my new dance moves.
This is Adam Ray. I like your dance moves.
Thank you so much. You're the first person to say that. Although my mom says she always thought my dance moves were better than expected.
That's what moms say.
Moms are overly supportive. My mom, when I was coming down here, I think it was raining when I landed. By the way, my pilot hiccup burped into the microphone, which is never a good sign. Like he was like, it's going to be a couple more hours, but oh, my bad. And I was like, oh, we're crashing into everything. That is a bad sign. But she looked up on Siri for the weather updates. And I don't know if you have a mom that does this where she just doesn't know when to shut it off. So she goes, Siri, please look up the weather in San Francisco from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., but then he might change his flight and fly in Thursday morning, so look up flight. Also, I've been wanting to make a new avocado recipe, Siri, so look up, and by that point, Siri was like, it sounds like you need a personal assistant. But my mom, ever since I was young, was like, you can do whatever you want, except for be in the NBA.
I have to wrap you up, Adam. We have to wrap because we have to go to break. But guess what? You are going to stick around because we do this thing called the Morning Mix. I will ask you more questions.
This. This is one of my favorite segments.
It should be, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Because we're going to talk about what's really happening out there.
Yes.
The morning, we'll mix it up. Have a cocktail.
To Jess. Say, here's Jess with the forecast.
And you know what? Hey, where's my Jess cam? I'm right here. Yo, guys, obviously, it's a big day in SF. It's a little over.
Weather.
We're going to go to the weather with Jess.
Come on, Jess. What's going on? I can't breathe right now. My stomach hurts. I wish I was joking about that. Let's take a quick look at this freeze warning and frost advisory throughout the Bay Area until 9 a.m. We are dealing with these chilly temperatures throughout the Bay. 32 degrees right now in Santa Rosa and Livermore. To add to that, 35 over in Concord. Now, taking a look at the next couple days, well, we are going to be continuing to see showers return into the forecast as early as Saturday, heading into Sunday. That'll linger around as we actually kick off next week, too. Monday and Tuesday is going to be pretty wet and chilly. Keep those umbrellas handy. You are definitely going to want them heading into next work week. My stomach still hurts doing this forecast, by the way, guys. I just really wanted to let you know that, so.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Okay, well, you're in luck because, we're going to do the morning mix right now because I think we need to let Adam see how the flow goes. And then he's going to join us for the morning mix at 8 o'clock. I have never had someone tell me to stop talking in an interview. That is going on my reel, by the way, Adam.
That's usually what directors are saying to us. Stop talking.
Right, true. They said in my ear, but never in person. All right, let's talk about some of the fun stories that are happening right now. This is actually very interesting. This is the morning mix. It's a good day if Bad Bunny isn't involved. It's a bad day, actually, if Bad Bunny isn't involved, right? But here, listen to this. Medical experts say one of his popular tracks can actually save lives. In all seriousness, listen to this. The American Heart Association says the song Titi Mi Pregunto has the same beat needed to actually perform CPR. So a lot of heart health research finds that a range of 100 and 120 compressions per minute is required. And guess what? Bad Bunny's song was composed at a rate of 107. So Titi Mi Pregunto joins a list of songs that also follows the same life-saving conditions and beats. So these are the other songs, which include Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, Baby Shark, I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor, Whenever, Wherever by Shakira, Baile Con Mi Ex by Becky G, Under Pressure by Queen, and many, many more. And keep in mind, while this is a fun story, of course, this is also really helpful and good information for you if you're put in a situation where you have to save someone's life because you're thinking about that. Like you were showing me an example earlier, Amanda, when we were talking about this.
CPR certified.
Yeah,
see my picture up all over the station, let you guys know. But yeah, also Rock Your Body by Justin Timberlake is one too.
But Shakira's Whenever.
Whenever, wherever. I mean, you think about that song, and if you say that to yourself, you're going to be on a rhythm. It gives you the right beats.
A lot of times when they teach you to, they do teach you with Staying Alive, which I feel like is kind of...
They can update that.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. But definitely something to think about and get certified if you can.
Yeah, very interesting. All right.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at what we can expect heading into this afternoon. Mild conditions, but still a little bit chilly. We're sitting about 5 degrees below average today, anywhere from San Jose up into San Francisco. High clouds sweeping through today, but no rain associated with them. We'll see the rain return into the forecast later this week, but long story short, like I mentioned, temperatures today still sitting a little bit below average, but a lot better than yesterday, and trust me, way better than the day before. So we'll keep you updated on this gradual warming trend. But for now, over to you, Jocelyn.
All right, Jess, well, wild winter weather has battered California once again with huge amounts of snow. Heavy rainfall has triggered rock slides in the Los Angeles area. And now southern states are bracing for severe storms and possible tornadoes. CBS's Jared Hill has more from New York.
In the Sierra Nevada mountain region of California, back-to-back winter storms have left snow piles as tall as buildings, prompting warnings of possible avalanches.
Avalanche danger is still real. Look at the forecast carefully and understand where we're saying the avalanche dangers are possible.
The weight of the heavy snow in Forest Hill caused a gym roof to collapse. Also, this porch killing an 80-year-old woman. In Nevada County, Gregory Thompson says he's been stuck at home for 5 days.
We have a generator, so we had auxiliary power.
Further south in San Bernardino County, the roof of this grocery store also collapsed under heavy snow. Local officials have declared a state of emergency.
We know we have stranded residents. Plowing of the roads is continuing 24/7.
In Los Angeles County, heavy rain, hail, and wind toppled trees and triggered rock slides, like this one in Malibu Wednesday. A massive sinkhole opened up in Ventura County, swallowing up an entire SUV. Fire officials say nobody was inside at the time. Snow also battered northern Arizona, causing a traffic pileup on Interstate 40. Millions in the southern U.S. are preparing for possible large hail and isolated tornadoes today. All of it part of that same storm system.
Well, meantime, an Oakland nonprofit is helping put dozens of newly trained reading tutors into schools, and it's thanks to a $3 million boost from billionaire philanthropist Mackenzie Scott, the ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Kenny Choi introduces us to one man who's a part of a group calling itself an Army of Literacy Liberators.
Charles Allensworth's family history shows how one man's determination set forth the educational foundation for generations to follow.
My great-great-uncle had to learn to read from the master's child.
Born into slavery, Lieutenant Colonel Allen Allensworth fought in the Civil War and later established Allensworth, the first town in California governed entirely by black people.
That's my inspiration to do what I'm doing right now.
He's teaching kids to read. In Oakland, only 3 out of 10 black and brown children are reading at or above grade level. The 72-year-old former teacher is one of 100 tutors aiming to disrupt a vicious trajectory.
I absolutely believe this is a game changer.
They call themselves Literacy Liberators. A 6-week program funded by the Oakland Outreach will train them, including Diana Manjarez, who recently left her job as a medical technician. She volunteers at one of the most underperforming schools in the city. But even her own third grader, Dilesia, an older sister, can't read.
I want to learn to help them how to read so they won't have an issue when they go into a different grade.
We sound out words that are hard for me, and we also blend them all together.
And is it helping?
Yeah.
Reach co-founder Lakeisha Young believes literacy programs targeting early learners through 2nd grade is key by actively recruiting tutors at Oakland's hardest hit elementary schools.
Why wasn't this happening 3 years ago, 5 years ago?
That's a very good question, but it's happening now.
I never would even thought of being a tutor, and if they hadn't came up to my mama and said, hey, man, before you go.
It's not about whether or not we care. Caring is important. We gotta do the work. We gotta do the work.
At home, Charles reviews lessons online so he's ready when the call comes. He chuckles, reminiscing years ago when he would read books to his young daughter.
She's looking right in my eyes and she says, Daddy, I'll be glad when I learn how to read so I can read you a story.
Paving the path early has led to success for his children. It's part of his mission to help Oakland's youngest marginalized students to read at a much higher level.
Superman ain't coming. So we got to be the superheroes. And that's what we're doing.
It's a small move in the right direction by one man. The chance to step up is now.
Yeah, indeed. Real life superheroes right there. All right. A school in Oakland has already offered Charles a job upon completion of the program. He starts at the end of the month. OUSD says last year, a third of its reading tutor positions were vacant. This year, it's almost at 100%, thanks in part to the Oakland's reach efforts of recruit and train tutors. Pay starts at $17 an hour, but advocates are pushing for more. Justin.
A deadly stabbing inside a North Bay classroom, and now teachers and even students are asking, how in the world could this happen? I'm Justin Andrews, looking for that answer, coming up next.
And this morning, as part of our week-long focus on kids in crisis, we'll share with you about a safe and free space now available in the peninsula to keep young people out of trouble after school.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. It is 5:28. This morning, students and parents are heartbroken in the North Bay. A school stabbing left a teenager dead and a fellow classmate injured. Classes at Montgomery High will be canceled for the rest of the week following that tragedy.
It's terrible that this is even happening again in our schools, Amanda. And this morning, police are still piecing everything together. But here's what we know from them so far. Detectives think the students knew each other and had problems before. There was some type of fight inside an art class involving 3 students at Santa Rosa High. Now, 2 juniors and a freshman. The fight got out of hand, and that's when the freshman pulled out a knife and started stabbing the 2 junior classmates. Now, according to investigators, Jaden Pineda was the 16-year-old who died. His family says that they first heard about the stabbing from Jaden's friends, not from school administrators. Our Justin Andrews is live at Montgomery High School this morning. And Justin, parents and students, they have so many questions. I'm sure the community does as well.
Right, Gianna, and understandably so. I mean, it was during a press conference when a student asked a question why the school didn't act sooner when the fight started. Listen in.
To be held accountable, a student had to call 911.
Right.
Nobody else did. A student did.
I get that.
A kid. The school didn't do anything. The school knew that these 2 had problems beforehand.
Right.
The school, it's their job to keep us safe.
All right, so here's what we've been able to find out. So it was back in 2020, Santa Rosa City Schools voted to pause a school resource officer program with the Santa Rosa Police Department. Well, that program puts officers at high schools and middle school campuses across the district. Yesterday, when this fight started, it happened right in front of 27 classmates, a teacher, and 3 teachers' aides. The teachers tried to intervene, but sadly, it was too late.
Well, I think it's really important to understand that the Santa Rosa Police Department did not remove the SROs from the school campus. So I think that's very important. That was a decision by the Santa Rosa School Board. As chief, it's something that I've advocated for us to return to, but we can't do that without the support of your Santa Rosa School Board.
We do talk regularly to our students about safety and about caring for each other on campus, but we do not have anything that detects those kinds of weapons on campus right now.
The Sonoma County Superintendent released this statement to us and saying in part that the school's community is really just heartbroken. They're broken, and they send condolences to the family, friends, and classmates of the victim. Obviously, this morning, this community is in mourning. Coming up, you're going to hear from the best friend of Jaden. She watched that young man fight for his life. Stick around for that emotional interview coming up at the top of the hour. We're live in Santa Rosa this morning. I'll send it back to you.
Anyone who's dealing with any of this with students and parents and just even seeing that memorial grow there. All right, we'll check in with you in just a little bit. Also, we're seeing reaction on social media from parents and elected officials. Some parents are saying the school has not done enough to address the problem of bullying. Congressman Mike Thompson says he is saddened by the incident, while State Senator Mike McGuire calls it awful and tragic. Jocelyn.
Yeah, and Gianna, just talking about that, we also want to discuss youth and mental health. We want to tell you about a place that's been giving young people a safe place to go after school, but now Peninsula Boxing Gym is facing its own fight to keep its doors open. Our Leslie Gooden stepped into the ring to learn more.
Fire in the Ring is a boxing gym that has been a staple in Brisbane for over 20 years, training fighters of all ages, with many growing up right here in the ring.
I'm just happy. Really always happy to be here every single day. You know, it's really a privilege.
Like Brandon Villatuya, who started coming here at just 16.
Trying to chase that dream, you know.
And he's now training to turn pro. So twice a day you can find him here.
You know, for me to see a lot of the kids in the place where I was back then, you know, it really feels good, like, to give back.
Every Monday through Friday, starting at 4 o'clock.
You want to punch too, yeah?
The gym offers an after-school program free of charge to keep youth motivated and off of the streets. And keeping that lifeline of the gym open to all is becoming a challenge. Since the pandemic, grants and additional funding has been difficult to come by. Members of this community are raising funds to help the humble owner.
Very disheartening. I want kids that don't have an opportunity to have the opportunity to come here, work out, meet people, make a community, and feel safe.
And Jake has been a part of that after-school program since he was 10. And not only has he picked up strong moves, but lifelong tools.
And all these people that come in and volunteer, it's good, because then they show that they want our next people that are going to be on before us, to show them that they could do something good.
You have natural, like, speed and power yourself.
It's kept me level-headed and kept me going. This is one of the most safest places you could be after school.
The gym says they will remain here for as long as they can, inspiring and impacting the fist and hearts of all who come through.
Well, if you would like to donate or get involved with Fire in the Ring, you can head to kpix.com. Exercise and physical activity like boxing is key when it comes to taking care of not only your body, but your mind. In fact, a recent study shows that consistent exercise for 12 weeks appears to be more effective to fight anxiety and depression than medication. Amanda.
Let's take a look at our top stories now. 2 Bay Area men have been sentenced for a bomb plot targeting political enemies. Ian Rogers of Napa was convicted of the plot targeting Democratic Party headquarters, the governor's mansion, and the headquarters of Facebook and Twitter. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison yesterday. In 2021, police found weapons and bombs at his home and his auto repair shop in Napa. A co-defendant, Jacob Copeland of Vallejo, was sentenced to 3 years. Vice President Kamala Harris will be here in the Bay Area tomorrow. She'll be in San Francisco to take part in a roundtable about business activity within the AAPI communities. The White House says the vice president will highlight the administration's efforts to boost small businesses, including an expansion of access to capital. Governor Gavin Newsom is declaring a state of emergency in 13 counties, including Sonoma, after recent winter storms. He says the declaration will enable the National Guard to get involved in the cleanup. The governor's office says the state is contracting with private companies for snow removal and clearing roadways. Let's get a check on our weather now with First Alert meteorologist Jessica Birch. And a lot of people are waking up to a very, very cold morning.
That is true. I mean, frost advisories and freeze warnings. That's what we're talking about this morning. So taking a look real fast at the map, all throughout the highlighted zones and counties right here, which is pretty much the whole Bay Area, we are waking up to a freeze warning. Temperatures mostly ranging in the mid-30s right now. We're seeing some 40s along the coast, but I'll show you that in just a second. To add to that, we're also under a frost advisory along our coastal areas this morning, even along the coast of the Bay. A friendly reminder from the National Weather Service to be very cautious out there. Take good care of your outdoor plumbing, your outdoor vegetation, and of course, any pets that usually prefer sleeping outside too. Taking a look at temperatures, this is not something you want your pets just laying out there in right now. 34 degrees in Concord, 34 in Santa Rosa. It's a chilly start to the morning, but hey, take a look behind me. Clear skies here in the Bay Area. That's going to be the trend as we head into this afternoon. We'll see some high clouds sweeping their way through, but other than that, they're not producing any rain anytime soon until the weekend. So we're currently in the middle of a dry break. Yesterday was the first day of it. Today we're in the heart of it. By tomorrow, we're going to see that dry break kind of break apart heading into this weekend's forecast. Rain is expected to return as early as Saturday. That lingers all the way into Sunday's forecast, and that's actually how we're kicking off next work week too, with lingering hit or miss showers expected all throughout Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to show you the models coming up in just a bit and kind of how much we can expect in each local area, because in total it's not too impressive of numbers, but hey, rain is rain and we got to be prepared for it, right? Now over to you.
Yes, we do. And it's nice, though, not to have that wet weather, though, for the morning commute, because it certainly changes things when you're out on the Bay Area bridges or any of our major freeways. And right now, things are starting to already get busy anyway as people head to work. But again, the roadways are dry, so that's the good news. Live look here at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. Metering lights are off, and we're starting to see that extra volume as cars make that trek over into San Francisco this morning. So start planning for that or thinking about your drive. Here's a look at one of the Caltrans cameras right at that Fremont Street exit at the Skyview, the area where you just come off the Bay Bridge there, the Skyway. It is getting a little crowded there. Golden Gate Bridge is starting to see a few brake lights out of Marin, but really not affecting the Golden Gate Bridge commute. So traffic moving along nicely into the city. In fact, most of our Bay Area bridges actually look pretty good. 15 minutes now for your travel time for that Bay Bridge commute, so that is starting to get a little bit busy, but everything else, even the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, is in the green. So some good news for your morning commute there. All right, well, there is a lot to be done. All the recent rain has made a mess of the roadways, creating an obstacle course of potholes for drivers to try and avoid. So our Katie Nielsen shows us how crews are taking advantage of the sunshine to patch things up.
It looks like she might have hit a pothole.
Tim Nuss and his family own RT Tires in Dublin. He says they're seeing an increase in cars coming in with blown tires due to problems on the road caused by the rain. That's exactly what happened to Victoria Torrey.
We're driving on the Benicia Bridge and all of a sudden the tire went out. On the freeway, raining, it was horrible.
She brought in her SUV, where Tim said there was no way to patch the flat. She had to get a new tire.
The potholes and the way that the streets are horrendous, and they need to be. There's so many that need to be fixed.
In January, Caltrans said it filled 7,325 potholes across the 7 Bay Area counties, including this one on 680 northbound just before Highway 4. But Tuesday morning, it opened again, flattening tires on more than a dozen cars.
I'm just following the guy in front of me, and boom, and cars just keep coming in with flats, same thing.
Tim says right after the rains, their business jumps by more than 30% with all the flat repairs. But it isn't just potholes that cause problems.
Just nails and screws and trash and junk that gets, washed up onto the road from the rain.
Victoria said she's just happy her family is safe and she was able to get a new tire.
You're awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
If your car was damaged by a pothole on the freeway, you can apply for reimbursement for any necessary repairs. You can find that information on our website, kpix.com.
Well, our heaters have certainly been working overtime this winter, and that's led to sticker shock on our utility bills. PG&E warned its Northern California customers of a 32% spike in natural gas prices this winter compared to last. And you can imagine people who cook with gas for a living are really feeling the pain right now. Len Ramirez looks at the reasons behind the skyrocketing prices.
Gracias. Jess Morellis is the operations manager for 3 downtown San Jose restaurants, including Farmers Union. He says menu prices for dishes like this garlic shrimp have stayed the same, but the cost of making it is blowing up. Not because of the cost of labor, seafood, or garlic, it's because his chef is cooking with gas.
Huge spike in cost and very concerning for business owners.
Take a look at this restaurant's utility bill, which includes gas and electricity, and will zero in on the last 3 months.
Coming out of last year, December, we actually were $4,800. And then January of this year, costs skyrocketed to $7,348. And then subsequently this past February, our bill was actually $12,858. So
I'm not aware that we've had a shock to natural gas prices, anything like what we saw in December and January before.
Severin Bornstein is the faculty director of the Energy Institute at the Haas School of Business, UC Berkeley.
We've had very short-term price spikes, a day or 3 days. This one actually lasted all of December and January and into February.
PG&E said it's not to blame. In a statement, the company said, quote, PG&E does not control the market prices for gas and electricity, and like other utilities, does not mark up the cost of gas and electricity that it purchases on behalf of its customers. The higher prices are the result of an almost perfect storm of factors. A major gas pipeline between Texas and California was shut down for 18 months, limiting the supply. Plus, abnormally cold weather across the country and here in California means usage has gone up.
The West Coast has not been able to get enough gas into the area.
Jess says his restaurants are holding the line on menu pricing.
Any blip in expenses has ripple effects, and we just want to make sure we're able to manage it appropriately.
While hoping the prices come back down to earth.
PG&E says relief is on the way. It projects prices will be down an average of 76% in March. Jess.
All right, well, time now is 5:43. The recent first alert weather days are impacting the Yosemite big time. The disappointment for folks who have reservations for the park.
And coming up today on the Drew Barrymore Show, actor Rebel Wilson is stopping by to talk about her movie, The Almond and the Seahorse. And interior designer Lauren Mack discusses all things candlesticks. That's all this morning at 9:30 on KPIX 5.
Welcome back. It is 5:45. Let's take a look at this morning's Money Watch report. More job cuts in Silicon Valley. Tech company Zoom Video Communications chopped nearly 200 employees from its San Jose offices. Zoom began the layoffs on February 7th, with many of those positions being engineering related. Last month, Zoom said it planned to lay off 1,300 workers worldwide across every division in the organization. Zoom CEO said the company grew too fast during the pandemic, adding they need to adjust to the current economy. A judge has ruled Starbucks violated federal labor laws in its effort to stop employees from unionizing. New York Administrative Judge Michael A. Rosas says the coffee chain illegally monitored, penalized, and even fired employees attempting to organize a unionizing campaign. They're now ordered to pay for damages to those workers. Starbucks is expected to appeal that decision. That's a check of your Money Watch headlines. Let's get a check on our weather now with First Alert meteorologist Jessica Birch. And you're probably waking up and saying, brr.
If you're outside, absolutely.
Yes.
If you have to take the dogs out real fast, you are going to want that blanket. Now, even as you're as you're walking to your car this morning, it is going to be a chilly start to your day. So bundle up now before you head out that front door. Taking a live look behind me, the sun is slowly starting to rise over those mountains. Close to sunrise. We're actually hitting that today at 6:39. Taking a look at our daytime highs today, once that sun is well above us and beaming onto the whole Bay Area, we're only going to be hitting the upper 50s and lower 60s. So kind of a chilly day for us. We're sitting about 5 degrees below average today, but hey, we are starting to warm up, at least compared to yesterday. Here's our rain chances. Heading into this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, even next Monday of the work week, we are going to be dealing with rain returning in the forecast from offshore. Looking a little bit more zoomed in all throughout the Bay Area today and tomorrow, it's just high clouds pushing through. The rain returns Saturday morning. This is what we're looking at on Futurecast right now. Around 10:30, it starts up in the North Bay and it sweeps to the south as we head into the afternoon that day. Well, we're still going to see continuing showers into the evening that night just from offshore, but I want to show you the large scale. The reason why we're even experiencing more rain. Aren't we done with it? Didn't we just have it 2 days ago? Well, look at this. On our large scale model, we're seeing another area of low pressure circulate just offshore heading into this weekend from the Gulf of Alaska down into the Pacific Northwest and finally here into the Bay Area. Yes, it has enough energy, just like the last one, to sweep its way all throughout our California coastline, bringing in much needed rain. But to add to that, we're also going to be seeing snow levels drop down to around 2,000 to 3,000 feet. That lasts as we head into next work week. And in total, from Saturday all the way into Tuesday, we could see about an inch of rain on average throughout the Bay Area. So that's this system right here, tapering off on Tuesday. Luckily, our long-range models are showing a drying trend to wrap up next week, but we still have plenty more moisture in the forecast, so we'll keep you updated on that. Now, meanwhile, Yosemite National Park is buried under about 15 feet of snow. Here's the view from the Yosemite Conservancy's web cameras. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait to see it in person. The park has announced that it is closed indefinitely. And back here in the Bay Area, the roads to the top of Mount Hamilton in the East Bay is still closed. But we were able to get some shots from our live chopper yesterday, so just take a look at that and admire how much snow we got here in the Bay Area. G?
Jess, it just looks beautiful through there, though. I mean, it's not fun that Yosemite's closed, but wow, those pictures of Mount Hamilton, gorgeous. All right, taking a look at the roadways right now. It is, if you are getting ready to make that trek over towards the Bay Bridge, you are not alone. A lot of people already up early this morning, maybe heading to work or school and getting to that area where you come from the maze over to the toll plaza. We are already starting to see those slow speeds as people commute into San Francisco this morning. And here's a different perspective. This is on the other end of the Bay Bridge, just as you come into the city, and you can see it is slowing down just a bit near the Skyway there, that Fremont Street exit. Golden Gate Bridge looks great, though. No delays, no issues. So that Marin County commute still off to a good start, and as is the San Mateo Bridge. You know, we're not seeing a lot of volume just yet. Everything's moving along nicely westbound as you head over towards 101, and travel times reflect that. Only 12 minutes for that commute across the San Mateo Bridge. Easy commute on the Richmond-Santa Rafael Bridge, but again, things are starting to slow down just a little bit as you head across the Bay Bridge this morning. So do keep that in mind. All right, super commuters, good morning to you. If you're making that trek out of Tracy heading into the Altamont, check this out. We got brake lights, 205 to 580. It is already slow making that connector there, and you're going to see at least slow speeds connecting all the way over towards that North Flynn area. You will get a bit of a break, though, as you head towards the Dublin interchange. Well, time right now is 5:50. Dubs fans, you are probably wondering how much longer it's going to be before this guy you see right there on your screen joins a streaking Warriors team. Well, next, Jocelyn and I will have an update on Steph's return to the hardwood.
Welcome back. Another mostly sunny day for us here in the Bay Area. If you want to take your lunch outside or take a nice stroll around the waterfront just into these afternoon hours, you can expect some low 50s just in the heart of San Francisco from noon into 3, but partly cloudy skies are going to start filling the bay as we head into the evening hours tonight. Nothing producing rain for now, but we will see rain later this week heading into this weekend. I'll time that out for you in just a bit, but taking a look at our hour-by-hour temps from noon all the way into 3 o'clock, upper 50s are expected throughout most of the Bay Area. Our model data is showing some low 60s too, mostly up in the North Bay and potentially down into the Santa Clara Valley too. So we'll have more on that in a bit. For now, over to you, G and Jocelyn.
All right, Jessica, thank you. It's time to talk a little Warriors. And is it time yet? Is Steph Curry going to be coming back soon? He's been out since early February, Jocelyn. So what's another week, right?
Right, but I would like him back
Me
here.
too. Me too.
Well, General Manager Bob Myers told 95.7 The Game the team is hopeful Curry's return would be during next week's 3-game road trip. He took part in a scrimmage on Tuesday, but has missed the last 9 games with the leg injury he suffered.
Yeah, well, thankfully, the other players are picking up the slack with a comeback win against the Portland Trail Blazers. This happened a couple nights ago, so just look at that ball movement you saw there. They came back to beat the Blazers by 18 points, having been down at one point 75 to 50, and that was in the second half. So Coach Steve Kerr is real pumped knowing he's got Curry and other reinforcements coming in.
We've been battling all season and without Steph and Wiggs for so much of the season, and you know, these guys have done a great job of just keeping our heads above water. And I think we can feel the finish line. We know Steph's going to be back before too long. Hopefully Wiggs, hopefully Gary. So, you know, we've got reinforcements coming. And in the meantime, these guys are doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, it's definitely been impressive to see, but we have to talk about this here. G, you mentioned this yesterday. Former Warriors star Kevin Durant is back in the Western Conference in his first game with the Phoenix Suns since the Brooklyn Nets traded him. And how did he do against the Charlotte Hornets? Well, he scored 23 points, got 6 assists, helping Phoenix defeat Charlotte 105-91. Warriors will host KD and the Suns March 13th. And the last time when he was with the Nets came to Chase Center. He wasn't playing that day. So I'm excited to have him back here I mean, he did good.
He did good. It'll be interesting to see how the fans react to
Yeah.
that too, just because he spent so much time here with the Warriors and how that all played out when he left, and of course winning a championship with the team. So that should be interesting.
No, I know. I'm excited. The Suns are looking good, but I think the fact the Warriors are doing good right now and having Steph come back,
I think that's only going to make it better. 5th in the standings, Jocelyn. I mean, that's good. And that Warriors are a second half team sometimes, you know, and they just like flip that switch too, even in the second half of their games.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
I'm saying we spoke it into existence because we said the team had to step up. They are.
They did. They're listening to us, Jocelyn.
All right, Amanda.
3, 2, 1. Engines full power and liftoff.
Looks like second time's a charm with this one. The successful SpaceX launch overnight and how this trip is making history around the world.
Plus, the wife of a missing radio DJ now speaking out this morning. What she is saying about Jeffrey Vandergrift's disappearance. And it's a heartbreaking tragedy in Santa Rosa, the turn of events leading to a student's death at Montgomery High School.